Hey guys, I have a little more time today. I'm not working on Sunday, and apart from the regular shorts I've been doing, I want to really have a pretty realistic conversation about what I've been facing so far, what it's been like, um, what the outcomes so far have been. So, a lot of people have asked me why I am doing this challenge, and there's quite a few different reasons, but one of the things that a lot of people had said is that doing this really helped them kind of have more clarity and direction. And I've just graduated law school, and there's a lot of big decisions I feel I had to make, and I wanted to make them for myself, not based on a sense of pressure from other people or an expectation or a panic. And since I've begun this process, which to me is very personal and a great commitment to myself to to do something that's so difficult for so many reasons. Even 7 days into the challenge, I feel I have more of a sense of trust in my own decisions that I'm making right now. And I'm not so sensitive to criticism and questioning from other people because I've been facing a lot of that just doing this water challenge, the water challenge for 40 days. So that I think is a very positive thing. And other things too that I feel I procrastinate on a lot, or things I've known have been issues, things that I need to resolve for years. I've been really working through some things. I have known for years, or highly suspected, that I have ADHD. I've never gotten the assessment. I've always kind of put it off because I thought I don't want any kind of assessment to change how I am, or change how I think of myself very much. But because I've been able to have more of a long term focus, because I do feel I have a better sense of direction, because of this, I've kind of calmed down. I haven't been so anxious about things, but I've still been able to think about the future. Things like an ADHD diagnosis, where knowing the results of that and whether or not I should maybe go on any medication for it, that's an issue, a problem for the future. But getting an assessment is probably a good idea, right? In case that is something that ends up being positive for me. So I feel I've taken steps that I've put off doing for years that are a significant investment in my mental health, possibly, and in my future. So that's something that's happened in the past few days, and I have the assessment tomorrow, and I think of how long I put off things like that, and I wonder what else will come up. I've also decided to move across the country, to BC, where I lived years ago and I loved, and as a long term plan, not as a temporary, oh, I'll be there for a few months and then come back sort of thing. And I'm taking steps and researching into different cities and where I want to live, things that might have seemed really overwhelming for me to take that big of a step a few weeks ago. Now, I might make a big step as an impulse, like I can't stand it here. I've got to get out. I've got to go here. But so that might be normal for me, but not in the sense I'm actually consciously making long term plans that I don't feel are impulsive, but are actually well thought out. So that's really positive for me. Next topic is my energy. I've really struggled with my energy a lot, much more physically than mentally, but my physical energy is very low. I've been doing deliveries and working for a few hours in the morning. I do deliveries for hours. For a few hours, I'm completely exhausted and I come home, I need a nap. But I feel that's quite normal. Some people have very different experiences when they do long fasts in terms of their energy. Some people say they just have an insane amount of energy. That's not me. Maybe that'll change, but we'll see. Also related to that, on that note, I do want to get ketone strips. Essentially, there are sticks you pee on, and they tell you whether or not you're in ketosis. So I want to pick those up. They're only $9 at the drugstore, just to see if where I am, because I'm curious if my energy levels correlate to different, like, depending how far into ketosis I am, whether or not my energy level is affected. I'm kind of just curious about that. The other thing I'd like to talk about is clothes. I love clothes. And this whole bag behind me. This is my favorite suit. I love it. It's tweed. Don't ask questions, okay? I've had this since 2019. It's been my favorite thing for years. So the fact that I am actually okay getting rid of this, knowing that it's not gonna fit me at the end of this. And when this fast is over, I don't think of this as just a temporary thing that I'm doing right now and I'm going to go back to my regular lifestyle and like unhealthy eating habits and, binge eating. That was a part of why I was doing this. I wouldn't have been at the diagnosis level based on tests I had done, but I definitely had a problem where I would emotionally eat even though I had a very healthy diet. And part of the reason why I did that is I just wanted to break that connection in my mind where if I felt, emotionally dysregulated, I would go to food. And that was a big source of shame for me. So, sorry, not meaning to get emotional, but it is emotional. And that's part of why I felt it was important to do something like this to break that habit. One of the many reasons. But yeah, the fact that I'm willing to do something like this and part with things I love, I feel like I'm really just it's not a temporary thing, but it's like this is part of the past I'm leaving behind. And I'm able to do that, I think, because I'm able to have a clearer sense of what my future is right now. Not as if everything's set in stone, but I feel a lot more confident going into the future. And when you feel more confident going into the future, at least for me, I'm more comfortable getting rid of things from the past because I don't need to find comfort in them in the same way I would if I was just, terrified about the future. Or that's how I think about it. The other thing I would like to talk about is the sacrifices that you make. You're aware of the sacrifices you'll make, or at least you have an idea. But when you actually have to do them, it's a lot more difficult because when you have a sacrifice to make, you value one thing, the 40-day fast for me, and you value other things too. And you really have to consider which is truly more important. Was this just a novelty thing, something I wanted to do, or am I really committed to this? And the first impact is food, but to be honest, I don't really miss food. I miss my energy. That's the first big sacrifice, is your energy. And related to that, the money you can make if you have more energy because you can work longer. And I'm a bit of a cheapskate, but I've been in law school and been broke. So I have an opportunity to make more money right now, and I'm not because I'm tired. That's a huge sacrifice for me. The other thing is just socializing. That's a lot more difficult. I've had a few days ago, I went out with my friends, some friends from school, and just sat while they were drinking for a couple hours. And I had a good time with them, but I didn't want to go to the party afterwards. And then yesterday, I had a date with someone, and I was cold, and he was drinking towards the end, and we were just talking forever, and I wanted to leave so badly because I was just completely sober and like he wouldn't stop talking. And I'm like, oh my God. Um, so that was really difficult. Okay, that was really difficult. And another thing I had to give up was ultimate frisbee, I really wanted to join. I had met the team already. We'd just done a practice run, but I knew I wouldn't be a good team member, and I didn't want to put my health at risk and also my ability to have enough energy to work in the morning after the ultimate frisbee. So I had to give that up, which I wasn't happy about, but I also had to give up community garden because the prospect of weeding and bending over and doing all this manual labor and driving everywhere is quite frankly very exhausting. So I had to tell my friend, I'm sorry, I also can't do this with you. And now that the summer is coming, there's so many events and music and things like that that I'd like to go to that I won't have the energy to do. And also, you realize a lot of these things are just not as fun if you're sober. So yeah, there's a lot of different challenges and things I'm noticing right now. An update about music. I realized that the reason why I didn't want to have music is just because let's make this more difficult, add another deprivation. But when I thought of it, I couldn't think of a really good reason, not a good enough reason to continue that. And where my energy levels were very low when I'm delivery driving, uh, listening to music is really helpful. And the YouTube thing I also changed somewhat with Instagram and things like that. That my problem with it was the reels just kind of destroy my brain, and the shorts on YouTube kind of destroy my brain. But most of what I use YouTube for is actually education. I really enjoy political science and philosophy, and a lot of educational things and movies I watch on YouTube and books I listen to a lot on YouTube because I really prefer that to just sitting and reading a book, although I do both. So I thought the amount of benefit that I'm getting in other areas of my life that are really important and I genuinely value because I'm able to, you know, watch or listen to YouTube videos and lectures, things like that, and books drastically outweighs the desire to just create some kind of arbitrary restriction. So I've adjusted that and I feel pretty good about that decision, to be honest. Um, and it's very difficult to read when you're low energy as well. So I feel like having something to do when you're at home because you're so tired is really important, and in a way just gives you another or gives me another opportunity to grow in another area during this because I have more time to actually absorb and listen that I would generally. So I know that's a long discussion, but I wanted to talk about, what I'm facing, what my challenges are at this point right now. I still haven't told my family except for my little brother and my sister, who I told not to talk about it with people because I don't want people freaking out. My mom's really, really worried uh, because she knows I've been fasting. She has no idea I'm doing a 40-a-day fast, so I'm just not going to tell her. And she's going to be terrified of the amount of weight I am going to lose. Now, if anyone's concerned or curious about the weight thing, I did look that up. And I took where I was starting from, which was I started at 186 and I'm on day 7. I was 178 this morning. So I'm losing a little over a pound a day, but basically a pound a day. So if I continue at this rate, I'll be very close to the 150 range. And I did check for my sex and height. I'm 6 feet tall. So my ideal body weight is very, like, it's right on the 150 150 pounds according to multiple models. So I'm not really too concerned about that, although it is something I'm monitoring. And if I feel I have lost too much weight, then, maybe I'll have to stop it. But I don't expect that to be a problem. But it is something I'm aware of. And other just physical related things, I haven't had any headaches at all because I'd been weaning myself off caffeine for weeks. No digestive problems at all. It's really just the fatigue. So that's my update for the Sunday. I'm working tomorrow, so I'm keeping a pretty chill day, but I'm going through a lot of things in my apartment to get ready to go to BC. And this week I'm really going to be focusing on job applications so I can go out there and my goal is to work as a CPA out there. So really exciting. things are happening. And it's a bit I don't think I've ever really been miserable during this whole thing. I've been uncomfortable and I've been like, yeah, this sucks, but I haven't had any regrets or any serious thoughts of going back or changing my mind. So day 7? Yeah, day 7. See you guys.